schedule. Hello, everyone. Good evening. How art thou? And how are you today, sister?
I'm a little bit of all right.
You a little bit all right?
I'm a little bit of all right. It's a little rocky there for a little while, but I'm a little bit of all right
Well, if
right
you're
now.
a little bit all right, I'm a lot all
All right.
right. Do I have any type of? Well, yeah. I just take the shirt and
Oh no, listen.
do all of that. Mm, I just, yeah. I think I'll be okay for the most part.
You sure?
I think I will. I think I will for the most part.
Hey,
Um,
oh man, grab that box of tissue up there, please. Nothing yet, but we're about to start the show.
for
It's right here
those
on
of
the table.
you that are already here, uh, no, I'm not boohooing yet.
Look, the title got her earlier, so we good. Look, we ready now. We ready. I got you.
Yep, I got
We
my
ready.
tissues on deck. Uh, Greetings. Welcome to this thing called life, where we are discussing this thing called life. And today's topic, as she said earlier, kind of struck me right in the heart when we were discussing it. And the topic is, am I my sister's slash brother's keeper, but not my own? And it was just like, okay, so that's how we gonna play this. We just gonna turn around and just talk about me to my face. We gonna talk about me to my face.
We're not talking about you per se. It's a topic that's just close to home. That's all.
We talking about me to my face.
To your face.
Hmm. Well, we might as well go ahead and before we jump in, I want to acknowledge our sponsors. Of course, we have Fetishized Confections, where you all can get some of the best naughty treats in Indiana. And she does ship, so you might want to check out the website, fetishizedconfections.com.
Mm-hmm.
Next to that is NotSoVanilla Weddings, where you can actually get your non-traditional ceremonies
Yeah.
done. And then finally, we have the Indiana
People of
People of Color
color.
Social Club.
Yeah.
And let me clarify something with this one. Now, while it is an all inclusive organization, it is truly, truly organized and it was formed because there's so many people in the LGBTQ community, TI, ABCDFG community, because there's so many different titles and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Um, because there's so many of them that are ostracized
Yeah.
to the point that they deal with depression and things on a level that people don't often realize. And to be ostracized by your family, to be, people who have loved you all your life until
Mm-hmm.
they realize that you're what happens behind closed doors, which does not affect them, um,
Can you
makes
say that part
them
again?
things that happen behind closed doors that do not affect them. Um, yeah, until they realize that, and then all of a sudden they treat you like you have the plague. This organization was actually organized and formed because they wanted to help address the whole person, not just the depression, not just the mental health, but the physical health as well, to encourage them to, you know, those that may be a little overweight, to help them realize, okay, you don't have to, yeah, you have people who are insensitive and you deal with body shaming,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to not love yourself because you are shaped a certain way or because you have put on X amount of weight or whatever your situation and circumstances may be. So I wanted to really take some time.
Like
Right. Yeah. And I really wanted to take the time to really put a little extra emphasis on this particular organization tonight because it has helped so many people in such a short period of time.
mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to just, like I said, give that extra moment to that particular organization. Now we're going to delve into good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies. How are you all? Thank you for being here with us this evening.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you jumping on with us so early in the show. We want to start by hitting the meme that really kind of got the ball rolling.
Absolutely.
This is one where we were talking about. It says, my therapist said something in our last session that I can't get out of my head. Black women don't often recognize they are struggling with depression or anxiety. Instead, they think they're failing.
Baby.
Now, we deal with mental health all the time. We talk about depression all the time. But if we were to delve beyond just the typical definitions and the typical spiel of it all, how many of us actually, when we start talking about the depression part of it, that is what we truly feel on the inside of us? It's like, I may do an egg over easy, but to me, it didn't come out quite right. But it'll be perfect for the person that you prepared it for. They're satisfied with it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, and that's only because you are truly beating yourself up about insignificant things.
About stuff that don't even matter, baby.
Right. And I saw myself um in that statement so profoundly. I was like, I do that all the time, especially when I cook. That's why I kind of use the example about that, the egg. But, I always find something that's not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just the quote unquote perfectionist in me or because I'm not dealing with depression when I'm doing it. But I do find myself feeling anxious because when I do cook, when I do work for others, when I do whatever it is I do,
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be to their satisfaction. I don't
Absolutely.
want it to be a situation where we have to go back and forth several times because I completely missed the mark,
Right.
you know. So, good evening, good evening, good evening, Miss Nefertari. Um, hey, my big little brother.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should say our big little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's taller than us, he's still the baby. So,
Don't
but
forget it either. I'm just
right,
saying.
don't
Don't forget it.
ever forget that you're still the baby.
We still you.
Uh-huh. But so it's like, yeah, that kind of hit me in the throat, and then right after I saw that, I saw, and I'm getting ready to share a quick vid with you all. Um, we all up in here. How you doing, darling? I'm definitely gonna have to shout out the launch brunch, which is
Yes.
coming up on November 21st from 12 noon to 6 p.m. The Midwest gets cold, y'all, and in the South it gets extremely hot. So if you are big on making sure that you are able to have your healthy organic vegetables and fruit, this young lady is one that you need to reach out to because She has a tower garden that actually, for real, grows your garden in your home. Now you can put it outside if you want to. When I get ours, it's gonna be in the garage. But the and we're gonna feature her as in the tower garden uh, probably one day next week, and so we can actually let people know before it gets cold, so that way they can go ahead and get their vegetables and their fruit rolling
Okay, yeah,
before it gets too cold, and then they can start out with their organic items and then move on forward from there. But anyway, hey Mother Elder, how you doing, Mother Joanne? Good to see you. Now what is this? Yay, thank you, sis, for the shout out. Oh yeah, most definitely. You know how we do. We support our own. We definitely support our
Y'all,
own.
for those who don't know, when we talk about our tribe and we talk about those that we embrace everything that they do. And we encourage, we empower, uplift, and sometimes we sit there, we will get behind you and push you, and you don't tell us you want to do something, because I swear on M&M, I think she is a prime example. If you tell us you want to do something,
Be ready.
yeah, be ready, because we're gonna put you out there.
How the song go? Be
You ready? You better be.
ready.
You better be. Because I'm gonna tell you, my feelings were so hurt. Like I was on my smoothie kick.
That green goddess.
Oh,
Don't feel bad. How you think I felt about my moss gold?
girl,
My
yes.
my healthy Wendy's frosty tasting smoothie. Yeah,
And
I was
sister girl,
devastated.
your niece with that stone fruit.
That's not see.
Mm. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
back to the
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah. Okay. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. But
She said so true. When I say it, don't tell us you want
mhm,
to say you want to do something.
right. But I'm gonna play this video that actually um struck home right after I saw
We
that
had the
meme.
conversation, yeah.
Yeah. And here we go. I want you all to listen.
It cannot always be. And that's when I turned into the queen. Give me very much something. And how often would you say that you just shift out of negative emotions the moment you feel them? Because we are so socialized to use our positive emotions as a measuring stick for progress, we often gaslight ourselves into believing negative emotions are not worth having. It can be night for as long as you need it to be. Embrace the night. And remember that you still have worth, even when you're not ready to show up during the day. I'll see you next week.
I think you do.
Because she said so much in such a short period of time.
It cannot always be. And that's when I turned into the queen. Give me very much something. And how often would you say that shift out of negative emotions the moment you feel them? Because we are so socialized to use our positive emotions as a means to be, we often need to believe negative emotions are not worth having. It can be night for as long as you need it to be. Embrace the night. Remember that you still have work. You're not ready to show up during the day. I'll see you next week.
Mm.
You know, how often do we find ourselves, we talk about being authentic. Now, I'm quick to turn around and let it be known, look, how are you today? It's not a good day. It's just not a good day. But then I will take the time to mentally I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, psych myself out to say, okay, even though I don't feel good about whatever the situation may be, I'm just going to brush on past it and I'll be okay.
So I've had a very, very rough day. Very rough day. And I was just like, this is just one of those just effed up days. This is just, and in my mind, I was just like, this has just been a horrible, horrible day. Instead of saying, this has been a horrible point during the day. This was a rough point during the day. But while I was going through, so the day started with me just deciding um, that I created an online journal. It's a private journal, but it was an online journal because my brain was spinning, and I was just like, you know what, I need to get some of this because you know how we get, especially how I get.
I have pinned a new
What in the
single. Now
world?
this is the
So I will get a thought in my brain, and it will spin and spin and spin, and by the time it gets done spinning, it's bigger than I am.
Hmm.
Um, so I was just like, you know what, I need to get this out of my head. I need to, just kind of visualize it, put it where I can see it so I can, gather my thoughts cohesively. But then there was external things going on. There was stuff going on, on the job, and there's, with people, with situations. There was just a whole lot going on. And then my boss left today, and and so that was just, so that was, just traumatic. And I was just like, oh my God, it's just, it's a horrible, horrible day. But I had to, in my whole, it's a horrible, horrible day, something absolutely, absolutely beautiful happened. And my team came together to support me. When I tell you, every person in that building stopped what they were doing to help me with the project. Me, who was just like, I'm done with this place. I'm walking out the door. I'm done, 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 done. I'm done. It's a horrible place. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Every person in that building stopped what they were doing to help me with my project today. And then in that moment, this one over here, who don't even realize what she does half the time, had posted something. And when I tell you that just cemented it for me, and from that point forward, I was just like, you know what? Those were just bad passages during the day. I don't even know when you posted it, but I happened to see it when I opened my
What post
phone.
was that?
It was one of your encouraging posts. You know how you have those posts every now and then. You just get to feeling it in your spirit. You get to,
And I just put it
and
out
you just
there
put it
and
out
it hits
there,
whoever
and
it hits.
yeah, and it just happened to be my turn.
Wow.
But I say that because
Wow.
that goes back to our topic. You know, am I my brother's sister's keeper? You are always everybody's keeper.
Hmm.
You keep us all in line. You keep us all going. You keep everybody's business going. You keep the home going. You keep me sane on my job. You keep your husband sane on his job. You keep me and your husband sane in the house with each other. I mean, you just go above and beyond. I mean, we've had friends in Chicago, when they've been going through things, and you've reached out. Friends in Mississippi and in Atlanta, and and just people are always, always, always. And even if they're not reaching out to you, you'll wake up in the middle of the doggone night and be like, you know what, so and so was on my mind. I'm gonna get him a call, or you'll send them a meme, or a reel, or just something encouraging and uplifting.
You're not gonna turn me to a punk.
I'm not gonna turn you into a punk, but what I am going to say is, when I saw that meme and when I heard that reel, And the reason that I ended up saying what I said as far as the title is because that's you everybody's keeper.
I said I wasn't gonna be.
Listen, it is both of us. Let me go and sip my wine. Because you are everybody's keeper.
I'm gonna do the cute cry.
You gonna do the cute cry today?
Where I just catch it before.
You just gonna dab your
Yeah,
eyes.
I'm not gonna let the.
You just gonna dab your
the
eyes.
whole
Hey,
ugly face
hey,
come
Mr.
out.
Laura.
I'm not gonna let the whole ugly
Hey,
face
pets.
come out.
Yeah, your twins on mine. But yeah, but you go out of your way to keep the rest of us.
And see, I'm gonna tell you, there was this meme that I saw.
You
It
have to forgive
says,
me. My hair is pulled up. It's
it
pulling.
says, you've been through 1,000 things in your life people don't even know about.
Mhm.
You've experienced things that have shook you, changed you, broke you, built you, and taught you to be stronger than you ever thought you had the ability to be.
Mhm.
And you are who you are for all of it. So the next time someone judges you based on a small part of what they see and how they interpret that, remember you are. Remember who you are. Remember how much you've overcome and smile and keep walking because you don't have a single thing to prove to anyone else.
At all.
You've already proved so much to yourself who muddled through storms that people didn't even see because
Absolutely.
of how you carried yourself.
Absolutely.
And when I thought about that, I thought about, last week's topic when we were talking about the Black Superwoman and how it is, and we asked the question, is the Black Superwoman based on trauma? And while in a lot of cases we can say yes,
Mhm.
but then when I read that, it made me think about it's not always that we have to be dealing with a trauma or anything quote unquote negative, like the video said, but sometimes we as women, especially we as Black women, who are and have always been well, I'm not going to say always been, but in the recent decades, not, because at one point in time, protecting the women and the children was paramount for
Mhm.
our culture.
Mhm.
But in recent decades,
Mhm.
we have gotten to the point where we have, be, excuse me, you all, where we have become all things to all people.
Mhm.
And so we find ourselves in a situation where we are saying, okay, to keep everything going for everybody and to keep things rolling, because take a if you take a spike out of a train track, the whole train is going to derail,
Absolutely.
and it's going to be a whole lot of people injured, or there will be a whole lot of merchandise lost.
Mhm.
And so that will cause a chain effect of disruption that nobody could ever imagine just because one spike
Mhm.
was removed. And so when I think about the Black woman and all we do, we find ourselves doing so much for so many other people until we get to that place where it's like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm not gonna deal with the foolery anymore. I'm just gonna stick my feet up under the cover and I'm not gonna move. And if the world turns upside down while my feet are under the cover, then it's just gonna have to turn upside down. If my husband has to make himself a sandwich today instead of having me cook, then dag nabbit,
There you
he's
go,
gonna make a
sandwich.
sandwich today. or he will get in the kitchen and cook because he is well able.
That man can cook.
Girl, better than me, I think. It says we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we honestly do, and we do it so subconsciously.
Hmm.
We do it subconsciously. There's so many women who have had breakdowns, who have had, where their bodies have just shut down
Hmm.
because they just go, 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 because they have to make sure everything is good with the children, with the mate. If they don't have a mate, with the whatever they're doing for the next day or for the next couple of weeks, with the job, food prep, whatever it is that they do,
Hmm.
to the point where they end up shutting down
Hmm.
physically. And it's like, you know what? Dag nabbit D, just kick your own self in the face. Because I'm guilty.
Yep, we talking about you too, because you another one, another prime example. She said, "Are you talking about me, sis?" She is a whole nother one.
Where she
Our other
talks,
sister in love, let me tell you.
and it's like, just like this says right here.
Some days she's a warrior, some days she's a broken mess. Most days she's a bit of both, but every day she's there, standing, fighting, trying. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Even when you don't have a
You,
want to.
this one right here, because this one right here will be sick as a daggone
Yeah, because I
dog.
wanted to kick her in her back until I found out that she was really down in her back. Because she was just non-stop
Hmm.
going, doing, and
Hmm.
and then I was like, and then all of a sudden she was just not able to do anything,
Hmm.
anything. And then I'm like, I'm gonna kick her in her back. Well, no, and you were like, no, no, you can't do that because she's like down in her back.
Yeah, her back.
And I'm like,
Her back was
her
bothering
back,
her.
like her back. She was like, I'm like, for real, back.
Like
And
her
she was
back was
like,
bothering her.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm gonna kick her in her chest then. See, because
She says we
she,
definitely have to do better.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we do. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm not just talking about Sugar, the crack cake, the crack cake queen. Um, but I'm talking about just all of us as individuals.
Yeah.
Like with you, I'm proud of you because just the other day you made the statement to me where you saw, because how things are for you when you shift into the fall winter month.
Hmm.
Those, because you're a heat baby, even though you don't like being hot,
Hmm.
you're a
I'm a summer
summer
baby.
baby.
I need the
You
sun. I
need
need
the
the warmth.
sun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it helps to feed you. That it feeds you as
Keeps
an
me going.
individual,
Yeah.
physically, mentally, emotionally, the whole nine. And when you saw that shift happening,
Hmm.
where you were just like, ah, and then when you recognized it, you were like, I am not. I'm not going to allow myself
Mm-mm.
to allow
We ain't gonna do
the winter blues, as they call it, consume me. And I was like so proud. I'm like, you know what? And I told her, y'all. I told her then. I said, I'm so proud of you because you saw it
that.
before it took hold.
Hmm.
You saw it before it took hold. Okay, what did my sissy say?
She done brought us a book.
My twin. In order for women to have and experience a healthier life, it is imperative that we stop being everything for everyone.
Mm.
The mind, body, and soul can only take so much. I am reminded of the plane analogy. In the case of an emergency, put your oxygen mask on first. Otherwise, you can't or won't be here to help anyone else. Therefore, I've learned to take care of me first
Mhm.
so that I can continue to be around for others. Okay, she just gave me my headshot of the day.
Mm.
Okay, it's right, like right there.
We have to let go of the superwoman complex. Practicing self care and self love are so important. We can't care for anyone if we don't care for self first. It took a while to learn this because we weren't taught this. Our mothers do it. Turn, we do it. Ooh. So,
So is it truly generational? Where because see, think about it now. At If you just go back, okay, us, then we have our mothers.
mhm,
Now my mother came from a sharecropping family. So then
mhm,
from there it became, and my mother was the oldest of 11, one of whom unfortunately was a stillborn, but the oldest of 10. So when you got that generation, because they had to have the hands for the field,
mhm,
then you go beyond my grandparents to my great grandparents, who
mhm,
in turn also had to have a decent sized family in order to take care of the family and in order to sustain themselves and things of that nature. And so dad took care of what happened outside of the home,
mhm,
while mom took care of what happened inside. Dad made sure mama had, because they talk about, I'm just going to wear this kind of robe because this right here is what kept daddy around, kept granddaddy around all those years and this, that, and the third. But see, they had a different time and they were in a different era
yeah,
where daddy made sure everything was okay for mama now.
mhm.
So mama could take care of the children now.
We need those long cotton robes like grandma and them had, them folks was married for forever. They had 5,000 children, but they was married for forever. And we run around here in these
50,
little,
60, 70 years. I'm like,
run
some of
around
them are
here,
still celebrating
yeah,
those.
we run around here in these little pieces of nothing.
They can't stay married 3 years
Mm,
after having a
baby.
$50,000 wedding.
Ah,
I'm just saying, but when you look at it, like that, and it's just like with this one right here, where you talk about,
you're worth it.
hmm
You are absolutely, unbelievably worth it. Excuse me. And you were made for mighty things. Keep pushing on, keep pressing.
mm,
Don't let anyone in this wide, wide world ever try to snuff out the light you bring. You have to know it matters. The world is going to try to convince you otherwise, but don't listen. Please don't listen. You are a marvel. It matters that you are here.
and that is the part that I need for so many of my sisters, and that I have to
Oh, look, now you got my eyes is burning.
cutting onions over here now.
Listen, you're messing my makeup and I got my eyes burning.
But that's the part that so many of us need to realize. That's why I, put up the post. It was just like, okay, this is just gonna be a headshot for D. I already knew it was gonna bust me
Mm.
dead between my eyes, and my twin was the first one to pull the trigger. Boom, bang, right there.
That so remember when I told you I had to do the journal that I
Mhm,
created the journal.
mhm,
So this I would say would be a response
To what you wrote today.
to what I wrote today.
Wow.
You see, that caught me because yeah, I want y'all to know, even though we are in the same space and we talk to each other, off and on all day long, a lot of like the memes and like I see the clips and stuff because we talk about them and when we talk about our topics and when we decide what we're going to do. But the actual like the memes and things that she brings up, a lot of times I haven't seen them and we haven't discussed them, and this one is not posted. So she pulled this up. So I had not seen this. She did not know that I created my journal today. She has not read my journal. She does not know anything. She did not know anything about the journal, and so I mentioned it right now. So of course she knows nothing about what was written. But when I tell you that was a response to what I wrote today, like that's why you got me on that one. I'm gonna take another swig of wine. I'm gonna
Okay.
need something strong in a wine. Wait a minute, hold on.
No, you could. Melinda says, yes, I believe it, sis. We watch them take on everything and take care of everyone. I've watched the women in my life work even when sick, that part. Taking care of everything and everyone, even when they were dead on their, ain't that it, dead on their feet, not sleeping or eating properly as long as the family was okay. And Twin says, as Melinda said, that behavior was passed down from generation to generation. As society changed, I'm sorry, women not only cooks the bacon, but she makes the bacon. Especially black women, are on double duty,
And
and it's
it's
killing
killing us.
us.
Yeah.
And then Kiana, did I say that right this time?
Kiona. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I tore it up last time. It's like then we are called the angry black woman. Ain't
You and
that
I
it?
discussed that quite a bit.
Ain't that it? And it's like, and it's because we do it all.
Mm,
And Alora's
absolutely. It's
like,
like, whew,
I
absolutely,
tell
honey.
you, I tell you. And it, like even with what Key just read, where it says, we have to start telling ourselves we're worth we're worth it.
Yeah.
You know, we can't let what somebody else thinks or feels dictate how we move forward with our lives.
Hmm.
We can't. It's not our responsibility to, we've got to, like, I did a piece a few years ago talking about the plug and talking about the leech. And it says we have to learn the difference between a connection and an attachment. One gives you power and the other sucks the life out of you.
Mm.
So we've got to know who we're attached to
Hmm.
and what they do to us. We talk about the energy vampires, those people that when you see them walk in, it's just like, ah, here we go. They could have not said one word, but just when they walk in or you feel their energy hit the space before you ever see them, it's just like, ah, so and so is here. And it's just like, it just makes you depressed or it makes
Hmm.
you anxious or it makes you angry. And it's like, and it goes back to where we say we've got to stop giving those people that much power
Mm.
and that
Hmm.
much headspace
Hmm.
because they're not worth it. Because at the end of the day, when we walk out of wherever we work, it's over and your actual life begins again.
I think that's one of the most powerful things that you had ever said to me is that you were just like, I don't even remember exactly how you phrased it, but it was, that's your job, but it's not your life.
Right.
Your life is what happens outside of that job. So, if, just background, I, for a moment, for a while, I was working upwards of 65, 70 hours a week at my current job. And that's because part of it was, I was on call 24/7. I'm jumping up in the middle of the night to go run to this job. Woo. Yeah. And it was my life for a while. I mean, I had life at home, but when I was at home, I was
You
like
was sleep
eating, sleeping, and going
or on the
and
computer working.
or on the computer working. So I was still working. Um, but then that was probably one of the most profound things I think that and it hit me because I was devoting so much time and energy to this job. So that when you said that, I was just like, what? And I really had to stop and take a breath and just be like, you know what? You're right.
And you're
You are
ever since
absolutely
you
right.
did that, it's like you're not as anxious.
Mm-mm.
You're
Not
not.
as hostile.
Well, I'm pretty sure the people at work
And they,
appreciate that.
yeah.
But Twin has just said something powerful. Living healthy starts in our mind. Learn that the word no is not a bad or a negative word. It's a it is life-giving, liberating, and necessary. And it takes me back to what Cassandra said. No is a complete
Sentence
sentence.
all by itself.
The end.
So I don't know if y'all can see this. Y'all see this cute little duck on my phone? Any cute?
Okay. What did it say? Did you and Twin hit head on together?
It says, "Did you take care of yourself today?
Wow.
Eat something," which we know I had not. Drink water, which we know I had not. Do something that makes you happy. I'm doing it now. Um, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling.
Hmm.
Huh?
Hmm.
Do it.
And see, I'm a proponent for that all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Be true to how you feel. Even and I go back to that meme where, especially dealing with people who have invisible illnesses, where they say, "Oh, you're faking being sick." No, I'm
Baby,
faking being
being well.
well. And it goes back to what Twin said. It's like living healthy starts in our mind, because that means when we make a conscious decision that, okay, I know physically I am not where I need to be, so I'm going to start making small changes
Mm-hmm.
here and there. I'm going to start making small changes, whether it is making myself go to bed, whether it is, making dietary changes, whether it is detoxing the people, the people that I interact with, whatever the decision is, it starts up here. And then we manifest it. Okay, Sugar said, as of today, I tell all my sisters to practice self care, to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I need? What can I do for me? Pick a day out of the week and devote it to you and only you. I don't want to offend anyone when I say this, but put everyone else on the back burner. You're only supposed to give from overflow when most of us don't even have anything in the cup. Merciful God,
Mm.
even if it's just reading your favorite book while enjoying a cup of tea. Journaling is a good way to start. Meditate. Yeah, meditate.
Yeah, I think it cut her off.
Yeah. And then Twin says, baby, you need to blow that up and put it on your desk as a daily reminder.
I think I am with his little cute self. Cause absolutely. Cause I'm gonna tell you. You see it. I was answering no. Take care of yourself today. No. Eat something. I ate when I got home, and I've been gone since 6:35 this
Ish,
morning.
yeah.
Drink water. No, I ain't take time. I had my cup of coffee this morning. That's all I had to drink all day long. Do something that makes you happy. I came home and I'm drinking my wine. That's what's making me happy. I'm sitting here talking to you and talking to our friends, and that's what's making me happy. I'm drinking my wine. And allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling. I am one of those people where I think when she talks about, it doesn't always have to be night. it doesn't have to stay night,
Mm,
and that you have to be able to feel what you are feeling, and even negative emotions are not a negative thing. I'm one of those people. I will try to do everything I can to put emotions on a back burner, stuff them in a box. You need to be anywhere else but right here and at the forefront of my brain. Because I'm always like, I ain't got time to be dealing with all that. But, that's part of,
and we just talked about
we
that.
did. We just talked about that. But that's part of growth. But I think, because I grew up in a, in a just and I won't even say an error, but I grew up with wipe your tears, ain't nobody got time for that. Fix your face. Oh, you want to be emotional? I'm gonna need you to go in there, splash some cold water on your face, come back out here, act like you got some sense. Ain't nobody got time for all that. So that was how I grew up. So then when I got to be, older in life, the whole, and I'll tell you in a heartbeat, yeah, I ain't got time to be crying. I got stuff I got to do. I don't have time for that. So when she said that about, negative emotions not necessarily being a negative, I'm like,
Right.
damn, you got to
Oh,
be hitting
thank
me.
you for not driving and texting. We appreciate that. We want you to arrive home safely. Thank you very much.
Yes, we do appreciate that. We do. She says we need to have our own spa day. Yes, we do.
What you don't realize is yeah, it's something coming up. So the 20th. That's all I'm gonna say online right now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna be reaching, and we just talked about that
Literally right
right
before we
before we
did the
went on
show.
the air. Yeah. Um. So I want to read this.
Ooh, she says we're getting a spa day.
Hmm.
I'm all for that.
And and I just told you I talked to Leela about that.
Yes, I'm all for a spa day,
It's
honey.
like
I need it. Oof.
it says trauma is also what didn't happen.
Hmm.
It's the lack of attunement, availability, and a safe container to process emotions and experiences. It can be confusing because you may feel like something is wrong or missing, but cannot pinpoint what. Your body knows even when your mind doesn't. Now I'm going to say a piece of this again. It says trauma is also what didn't happen. Now, we have a lot of things that we deal with that did happen in
Yeah.
different situations and scenarios and all of that. But it's rare that, like when we talked last week about the negative emotions or those things that we deem to be negative, us recategorizing them as instead of them being um, negative, using them as directives, as messages, as to, okay, you're feeling frustrated. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C. We need to redirect our thinking. This is not quite working out. So it's like all of this stuff is conducive to our healing
Hmm.
and us getting ourselves together. I got to get myself together, because I
Hmm.
got someplace to go, and
Always.
I'm praying when I get there, I see everyone I know. But it's like when you think about how the eagle soars, and I've used the analogy, that I heard a while back about how there may be a crow that's on the eagle and it's pecking away as the eagle is steady going up. But then when that eagle gets to a certain altitude, the crow has to fall off because it's not able
To
to
climb to that
breathe.
height. Yeah.
And I saw something earlier over the weekend that kind of took it in a different direction and it also dealt with the eagle. It talked about this eagle whose talons had gotten into this very powerful fish. And the fish kept flopping, kept, trying to get away. And it went on down. And the eagle's talons were so embedded
Mm. Got pulled under.
until it could not let the fish go. And it got pulled into the fish's habitat.
Mm-hmm.
And the eagle died.
Mm-hmm.
And the fish lived. So, well, I'm assuming the fish lived, but then again, it may not have because the talons were in there, so both of them probably got ate up. But I'm just saying, in terms of, sometimes we grip something that we really need to let go of, but it is something that it's like, okay, I'm so hungry for this. So when you think about it, I'm just gonna work in, um, because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Sometimes we get our talents stuck in that toxic relationship to the point that we end up drowning
Mm.
because we're not able to let go because we fail to, as the ladies have said, as the information has said, we fail to realize that we do have value. We do have worth. We are able to function and not die. We just have to, it may take you a little bit longer because you have children to get out of a situation. But if you really want to get out of that situation, there are people and organizations that are there that can help you. And I don't care if you're in another state. This is me and Key talking to you right now. If you don't have anyone else you can reach out to, I don't care if you just put a message on the thread of this video. We will make contact with you
And
and
find
we will
resources.
find resources in your area
Because
because
that's just who we
that's
are.
a part of what we do.
I want to backtrack just a little bit. Just a little
Yeah,
bit.
and then I'm gonna hit those comments after you
And
do.
when I say I want to backtrack just a little bit, it's not necessarily backtracking. I just want to say, because we have the crew. And so in French, the crew is the most experienced, most coveted, that's a coveted vineyards, group of vineyards in all of France, all throughout France. And people, when they want to start their vineyards, they go to the crew, um,
Spell CRU.
CRU. They go to the crew to get their samplings, to get their startings for their own vineyards. And from that, so from the crew being the creme of the creme and being the top and being the source, a lot of times I think we think of women as the source, and we are, but the source is dual fold because as much as they may irritate the ever living hell out of us sometimes, we still have our counterpart. And whether we're talking about as single women, married women, brothers, sisters, however, we still have our counterpart. And I think so often we neglect, they neglect, they neglect to talk to and empower themselves and one another. So we literally have a men's group, which is called the crew. And then so it's the crew, but then also the crew, it's all men. The only women in this group are me and my sister, and that's because we started the group. It is all men, and it is about empowering. I've had 2 glasses of wine that kicked in. The fact that I hadn't eaten has all been starting to kick in. Um, Empowering one another.
That power ring.
Yeah, uplifting, helping one another. But I think that while we as sisters, we're always so, we always want to be so bonded, and we always want to be so. in tune and so connected, and we're always, linking arms, and we're always trying to empower and uplift one another. And I think sometimes we forget that, our counterparts, they need that love and encouragement too.
And
And
we
they
tend to
need
do it
us
a lot.
to speak
Life.
life into, over, through, around, beneath our counterparts, our men,
Period.
period. Because they also have worth. They,
And that's a show that's coming up, baby.
baby. And then they also, they have the struggles with the mental health, with the self worth.
Suck it up. Boys and men don't cry, but then when they get older, I don't know why he doesn't show any emotions. If he would just talk to me, it's like, okay,
But you done told him all his life to suck it up and shake it off. Be a man about it.
right. Yeah, so I can't wait for that show. Hmm.
But so, and I guess, part of it is just, just to tell our men, you have value,
Right,
you have worth,
right,
you are important.
right.
Um,
And we love you.
we love you,
Point
and
blank, the end.
self care is not just a woman thing. I'm gonna say that one more time. Hold on, let me scoot off so I can look directly in the camera. Self care is not just a woman thing.
And you can actually take care of self and still honor and recognize and pay homage to your mate. Okay. Mom taught me when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. That's
Hmm.
been, yeah, but it's okay to cry and shut down. That is healthy for us. There are times where it really is a good thing for us to power down. We do things out of habit. It's time to break those bad habits that are draining, debilitating, dangerous, and deadly.
Mm.
If you don't feel like it, don't do it. Some of this behavior also comes from the church culture. Girl, don't get us started because you know me and you, twin. The church culture and how some have taken scripture out of context concerning sacrifice. Jesus paid it all. We don't have to. Ha ha ha. Ha. I want to go somewhere with that, and I'm just gonna keep on reading. Some people wonder where I am because I will take a whole weekend and talk to no one. That is my way to re-energize. And
That's
sometimes,
a family trait.
but see, sometimes you just really have to,
Have to.
get still and get silent because sometimes all of that extra stuff is just it just makes you just tighter and tighter, and it's like it just shrivels you up like a raven, and it's like, I can't give you anything if I don't have any sustenance in me.
Prime example. I got injured weekend before last.
Mhm.
I kept going all week long.
Mhm.
I worked almost 50 hours last week
Mhm.
with a traumatic brain injury. I have a concussion.
Mhm.
So I have a concussion. I'm recovering from that. I worked, like I said, 50 hours, about 50 hours last week, with a traumatic brain injury. Came home on Friday, could barely stand up. Finally took pain medication about 7:30 ish. Fell asleep probably about 9:30 ish, and was not. I mean, I think I woke up a couple times and like talked to people and drank some water. Was not fully cognizant until 4:45 the next day because my body needed to shut down. If you
Mhm.
don't take the time to take care of yourself, if you don't take the time to do what you need to do for your body will tell you, hey,
Have you lost your ever loving mind?
that's okay, don't worry about it. I'm just
I
gonna
got
shut
you.
all I'm gonna shut it all down.
Mhm.
So I had like events I was supposed to do on Friday night. I had events that I was supposed to do on Saturday during the day. I had two events I was supposed to do on Saturday during the day. One I was supposed to do on Friday night. I didn't see nothing. Nothing and nobody.
Mhm.
And I had to apologize, and on the one hand I was just like, yeah, my bad that I missed it. But on the other hand, it was just like, I have a traumatic brain injury. I have not rested. My
And she
body
did not
finally.
need to be driving.
I really didn't, but I probably shouldn't have been driving the day of or the day after. But that was interesting. It took a very long time to get to work that day. Because I pulled over to the side of the road. Stuff. The road starts moving on its own. You pull over to the side of the road and you keep moving. Um,
Thank God it's closer
thank
today.
God, yeah. 2X's up. Thank you. Thank you. But I will say that we have to, and I have to kick myself for that. We have to take that time because when we don't take that time, our bodies will eventually just be like,
Look at here, heifer.
I'm gonna take it for you.
Right.
I'm gonna make you take this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a situation that you want to be in.
Right.
Because there were people who were looking for me. I had to answer some messages on Saturday where folks was like, "What the hell? Are you okay?"
And you were like, no,
Mm-mm.
no. And so let's catch up. It's like, oh, well,
Mm.
thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Not only do we have value and worth, perhaps that particular fish wasn't you. Girl, you know what, twin?
Mm.
You know what? That's all I'm going to say.
That
You
wasn't
know
your
what?
fish. That wasn't your fish.
Yeah,
That
that's
wasn't
all
your
I'm gonna
fish.
say on that, cause y'all know me, and look, my brain start running, and like, so a whole post might come from that one comment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you don't shut yourself down, your body will shut you down. Period. I'd rather do it myself, and that is, where, like I said, the overall topic really came from because it's like, okay, we take care of, and we look, because y'all know I'm the first one, well, I'm the last one to know, but I'm the first one that's ready to get out there for mine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'll never forget that the cousin that we didn't know was a cousin until started,
Yeah.
she came to the house and we started having that, just overall conversation, when there was a situation where that happened with her, and I was getting over my COVID. I was so mad because Key and baby girl had gotten up and was leaving before it. Look, we'll be back. We got XYZ that we gotta go. We getting ready to head down to XYZ's house. What's going on? I tell you about it when
When we
when
get
we get
back.
back. And like I said, I was in the process of like recovering
COVID.
from COVID. And when they told me, I was like, I don't give a happy ham sandwich. Y'all should have told me because I would have been booted, zooted, had all kinds of
And
masks on. Look, and I was dealing with PTSD because I didn't even want to leave the house. But look, just to go riding around in our own vehicle, I didn't even want to go out of the house.
mm-mm.
That's just how bad it was for me. But then, you messing with one of my people,
Yeah.
it's time for us to deal with two or three things. And
When I feel you was probably, I think you were the, well, other than my mother, you were the last one to know.
so it's just one of those deals where when you're used to, and people know that, look, she gonna get out there behind you.
Okay. I want y'all to know something. She will get out there behind you. However, she will get out there behind you if in like I said, when I fell and I hurt myself, I think he was at church. He was at church? It was Sunday. He was at church. So I sent a very general, hey, when you get done, can you give me a holler? I think that was the message that I sent her.
No, the message was, I fell, but I'm fine.
Oh,
Did I emphasize? And then she sent a follow up. Did I say I am fine? I am at XYZ's because she didn't feel like she needed to be by herself. I'm at XYZ's house. But did I say I'm fine?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
I'm fine. Found out the next day I had a concussion. But at that particular point, it's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
And when she walked in, I could look at her and tell she wasn't fine.
I was not fine. My eyes were glazed. It took a lot of effort to drive home, and then because when you have a situation like that, to try to stay awake, and to try to just be. So by the time I got home, I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I'm like, no, we're gonna sit up and talk, and she and G kept me up for a while, and I finally did like power down. But yeah, no,
It's like thank God for a lot of hair.
yeah, because the way my hair was braided and it was up, and just the fact that I just have a ton of hair. Those who know me, y'all know my hair is long and it's thick and it was pulled up and over to the side. So when my head hit the concrete, like it literally, I would say my hair probably like just saved it from being a much more serious situation. But when this one found out,
I was okay. I was calm. I just made sure she was straight. Yeah. And we just gonna leave it like that. Yeah. And that's how we gonna leave it. But I just wanna, did you have something
wait,
else that you wanted to share, huh?
oh no, no, I'll post that. That'll be a post later.
Okay. And it's and I want to actually go back to the beginning and read this again after all of our conversation and start, like I said, at the beginning
At the beginning.
where this meme says, my therapist said something in our last session that I can't get out of my head. Black women don't often recognize they are struggling with depression or anxiety. Instead, they think they're failing. Now, after today's discussion with you and those who have shared input, a part of me can see that as okay. But now that we've had this discussion, I see more of it instead of being the depression and the failing. Yeah, you become anxious because you want things to be well,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really see it so much as failure anymore. For me, I see it more as, excuse me, I guess I would say a motivational piece, as far as my emotions, because it's like, okay, I've been doing all of this different stuff. And you know what? Congratulations, girl, because you have not
Absolutely.
fallen the hell out. You may have been anxious. You may have had moments where you were just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just over it all. I just, if one more thing happens, I'm done. It's a wrap. I'm just through with it. But like I said, after talking and having the dialogue with everyone today, it's like, no, I'm not failing. And I
Ah,
can definitely raise my hand on that. Y'all come through on my situation and set a whole different tone. That
listen, they was messing with little sister, and they thought they was about to do her any kind of way. We walked up in there, was like, no, 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 this is not what's gonna happen. We need this and this and this and this to happen. And then this lady was like, oh well, we not getting ready. And we both turned around and looked at her and was like, excuse
excuse
us.
me. See what
It
had
wasn't even our
happened was,
event. Look, it
uh-uh.
wasn't even our event.
But what you're not gonna do.
Mm-mm. Don't play that at all.
Ooh, boy, the memories that, ooh, Jesus. And then she says, do you see my cousin's face? LOL. It's like that's love. And it is all love. And you know that.
Always,
It is all
always.
love. But I want us all as we move forward, and I want us all to just kind of think about, as we push forward with where we are in our lives and with everything that we do and everything that we deal with. You know, the picture with the woman trying to get out of that glass that was just drowning.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes that's truly how we feel. And it's like in response to the meme, they may think they're failing because someone may be gaslighting them or they are in competition with someone else. In a lot of cases, people are causing their own depression and anxiety from a flawed and deceptive perception.
Mm.
I'm just going to let that stay on the screen for a minute.
Perception is everything. We've learned that.
I'm going to let that stay on the screen. And you know what? I'm so sick of all of these red flag memes. But I saw one, it didn't have not nary a red flag on it. But it says, stop trying to love the red flags out of people.
Mm.
That includes self.
So, yes, that part.
Instead of trying to love the red flags out, we've got to address the red flags
Get to the root of
because
it.
nothing heals until we address the issue at hand.
Mm-hmm.
It may hurt to pull that scab off,
Baby.
but when that infection has come out and the proper antibiotics have been placed in your system or the proper ointment has been put on top of that scab and it has been covered back up so that nothing can get in it, then everything will be all right.
Exactly what she said.
It's like, can we please address the red flags? Otherwise, they will continue to fester. Girl,
Mm.
not setting boundaries. And then we're going to work. I'm going to tell you all about next week because next week is going to be very educational for us as well as others. But it says not setting boundaries to avoid upsetting people doesn't make you a good or loving person. Let me say that part again and then we'll go forward. Not setting boundaries to avoid upsetting people doesn't make you a good or loving person. It makes you someone who feels hurt and drained and unsafe and running on empty. You shouldn't have to sacrifice what you need in order to demonstrate your care for someone. The right people won't want you to ignore your self care for the sake of making them more comfortable. The right people will want you to take care of yourself. They may not always understand your boundaries, but they will respect them. If you set a boundary and it makes someone uncomfortable or angry, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have set the boundary. It doesn't mean your needs are wrong or that you should retract and say yes. At the end of the day, your self care is more important than other people's comfort.
Mm.
Their comfort and self care are important too. And it's not wrong to want to make shifts to accommodate both. But if you have to ignore what you need in order to maintain the connection, it's not the right person.
Mm. 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 Mm.
So, what I'm going to say is that very first statement again, not setting boundaries to avoid upsetting people doesn't make you a good or loving person.
Mm. 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 Mm.
To use Buddy's words, sometimes it makes you look gullible,
Mm. 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 Mm.
but it's very profound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to actually post this on the This Thing page because when I saw it, it was just like, oh my goodness. It was, it was profound.
Mm-hmm.
It was profound. And it says evil versus broken.
Mm.
Do not confuse a broken person for an evil person. A broken person can be fixed. An evil person cannot. An evil person causes pain. They hurt others. They deliberately cause chaos. A broken person would never do any of those things because they know how it feels to be on the other side of those actions. Don't confuse someone who can't be saved,
Who can be?
who can be saved, I'm so sorry, with someone that you will need to be saved from. So,
Mm,
what I'm going to say is, am I my brother's and my sister's keeper, but not my own? Yes, we can continue to be there for others. Yes, we can continue to love up on them. Yes, we can continue to go to bat for them. But we need to also maintain that we have to take care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to be in a physical position where we can't even do for ourselves, let alone anyone else.
mm, mm, mm.
So, on that note, I'm going to say thank you all for joining this conversation. It's a thin line between evil and broken. You are so right.
Mm.
But next week, we're actually going to talk about and have a couple of people on to discuss. We've all heard about the Moors and the community and what have you. And we're going to actually learn more about who are the Moors. Because there are a lot of people that are out here false flagging.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of misinformation.
Mhm.
And, and there's a lot of misunderstanding
Mhm.
because people don't know and people don't understand just who and what the Moorish community represents.
Mhm.
It's not a religious cult because I have actually heard people say that.
Mhm.
It's not a religious cult. It is, well, what I'll do is I'll say just tune in because when you learn and you realize who they are and what they truly represent. Now, we're not, I'm just going to put this disclaimer out there. This is not to try to get anybody to become a Moor. This is just for information because the more we know about other people and what they believe and how they choose to live their lives, the more we understand and the more we'll be able to actually maybe work together closer
Mhm.
in a lot of situations because sometimes there are structures in place within organizations with that we could all benefit from,
Mhm.
but because we have these preconceived notions
Mhm.
we miss out on one knowing some absolutely wonderful people,
Mhm.
but two having a greater understanding of how we can, because we're always talking about coming together as a people, how we can come together as a people. Because sometimes people are actually doing it and we don't even realize it. Sometimes we just have to plug in. So, next week, I hope you are willing to um, join us as we talk about understanding, more about the Moorish community. Thank you so much. It says, excellent healing conversation. I appreciate the opportunity. Stay well, ladies. Remember, your mind is the battlefield, but you're the general. And call all the shots. You know what? I needed that. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings to all. I've just started my studies on more civilizations dating back. That is definitely a history of people that we should know information about. I am so glad So you'll be able to share when they come on um, next week as well, because since that's you're already studying and just getting general knowledge and information. And that's one thing I love about her. She's always learning. She's always
Mhm.
challenging herself to know
Always, yeah.
more. I love that about little sister. But anyway, we love you all, and we will see you all next week on this thing. And I didn't cry too much. I did the little cute cry once or twice, but love you guys, and we will see you all next week on this thing called
Life.
life. Take care.